Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome. Queen Naomi is rumored to have cried so much, went on her knees, her voice trembling with emotion as she held the hands of, the woman many call the mother of Ifa wisdom, Iyanifa Olori Yeye Orimolade. That is the real name of Iyanifa. Okay, her name is Iyanifa Olori Yeye Orimolade. Okay, she is the most respected female Ifa priestess. Okay, in Puerto Rico. Okay, and around the globe. Okay, who has now become one of the central spiritual figures in the long and turbulent journey between Queen Naomi and the Oni of Ife. It was a moment of profound emotion. The palace courtyard was quiet, the wind slow, and it was just emotional as Queen Naomi dressed in, flowing white, bow before, Yanifa, tears flowing freely, whispering words of gratitude. You came from afar, you came for me, and now I can breathe again. Naomi was said to be crying so much. Now, why is this happening? They say Yanifa is leaving. Yanifa is leaving the palace now to return back when Kabiyesi is ready for the Offering Day ritual. That woman has been here for over 6 months and she has a lot of responsibilities, okay? Now, Yanifa, calm, radiant, and deeply composed, placed her hands gently on Queen Naomi's head and softly chanted an Ifa prayer. She was not there for attention. She did not come for titles or applause. She came to fulfill her spiritual purpose, a calling she had received years earlier in a vision while in her sacred grove in Puerto Rico. Now, I think this will be the first time that I will officially tell you people about Iyanifa because we've been hearing Iyanifa. We really don't know who she is. Who is Iyanifa Orimolade? And why is she so revered among devotees of Ifa all over the world? Born to a family of Caribbean Yoruba descendants, Yanifa Orimolade grew up in the hills of Mayagos, Puerto Rico, in a home where the drumbeat of Yoruba tradition never died. Her maternal lineage traces back to descendants of Yoruba captives brought through the Caribbean during the transatlantic slave trade. But from a young age, her spiritual gifts separated her from others. At just 10 years old, she reportedly fell into a deep trance for 3 days, during which she named ancient Orisha shrines in Nigeria. These shrines were shrines she never had, as in she had never seen or known, okay, or read about. Her revelations were confirmed years later by Nigerian Babalawo, who were shocked by her accuracy. By the time she turned 22, she had already been initiated as an Iyanifa, one of the rarest and most sacred titles given to women diviners in the Ifa tradition. She became known globally when she was invited to Cuba, Nigeria, and Brazil to, lead joint ancestral ceremonies, event that that had not occurred since the separation of Yoruba spiritual communities centuries ago. What made her truly unique was not just her knowledge of Odua, Ifa verses, or the sacred Kari oracle, but her purity, discipline, and compassion. While many spiritualists boasted of powers, Yanifa Orimolade live it in humanity, fasting, meditating, and serving communities across continents. Her home in Puerto Rico became a spiritual refuge for people from as far as Senegal, Brazil, and the US is seeking healing and direction. When the Oni of Ife was facing spiritual sabotage and repeated manipulations in his attempt to restore Queen Naomi to her rightful place, he turned to Nigerian top Ifa priest, but he soon realized that palace politics and spiritual envy were distorting every effort. He was then that an elder priest in Ile-Ife, during an early morning divination, received a message from the Urumala oracle. The hand that will wash the head must come from afar. She is not among you. That was the message they received. That prophecy led them to reach out across the Atlantic to Puerto Rico. Iyanifa Oruma Lade accepted the divine call and arrived quickly in Ife under strict spiritual covering. Her arrival was not announced with bomb, but within days of stepping foot on the land of her ancestors, things began to shift. She conducted a rare Ori cleansing for the Oni of Ife, invoking ancestral spirit from both Yoruba, Caribbean lineages. She fasted for 9 days, led private ancestral consultations, and visited sacred hills and groves in Osun and Ekiti. She did not speak often, but when she did, her word came with precision. Okay. Now, the Oni of Ife, overwhelmed by her insight, publicly referred to her as Iyami Ifa, Iyami Ifa, Iyami Ifa, right? My Ifa mother, okay? A title never before granted to anyone of foreign descent in the palace. Under her guidance, the broken spiritual bridge between Queen Naomi and the throne began to mend. Okay, she oversaw, the third full moon ritual, ensuring that Queen Naomi return was not just ceremonial but spiritually sound. She corrected long-standing ancestral imbalances, and more importantly, she exposed the sacred spiritual attack orchestrated by certain palace elders and wife jealous of Naomi's divine mandate. But Iyanifa's role is not to stay in Nigeria because she has her own home and her own work. So as she stood in front of Queen Naomi preparing to leave, she smiled and said, "My child, my work here is done. The ground is now clean for the crown. You will return, but not yet. When the king is fully ready to receive what he asks the heavens for, then the seal shall be placed. That seal is called Ofarande. The Ofarande ritual is the final sealing rite in ancient Yoruba tradition, a ceremony that links soul, throne, and destiny. It is not for public. It is a rare, rite reserved only for queens who carry spiritual assignment and are chosen by both ancestral and divine order. Iyanifa explained that this ritual must come only when the Oni is completely ready, emotionally, spiritually, and politically, to let go of all opposing forces and embrace destiny with clean hands. So, these opposing forces, are they talking about the Oloris? What is the plan with the Oloris? Oh, Now, until then, Queen Naomi would, travel, you know, just Nami would go ahead and do what she knows how to do best, live her life, do her things, knowing that she's got her husband back. That is the Oni of Ife, no wahala at all. And Oni will also live his life with other wives. But of course, when Kabiyesi marries 1 million women, you know that Queen Nami's place is completely different. It's up to Kabiyesi to decide how he wants to deal with issues going forward. The Nami was just crying, thanking Iyanifa the entire time. This is what we are hearing. I'm going to bring you more update. Do not forget that these are all alleged, rumored, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.